Gabriel Valenzuela versus Steve Spark. Let's get into it. Let's start with Valenzuela. 26 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, and 16 wins by way of knockout. He suffered his first 2 losses early in his career, but since then, man, he's improved his skills, traveled to different parts of the world to fight and get some of that away from the hometown feel and advantages. He won a big fight against Robbie Davis Jr. where Valenzuela traveled to his home country and came out with the upset win. Valenzuela showed great skill that night, and he did a bit of everything. He boxed a little, engaged a little, countered impressively in that fight as well, and he's quick with the shots when his opponent is hurt. But that was a fight that you got to see what he can do. And it showed that the 2 losses that he suffered early was a thing of the past. He is here now, and he's built up this momentum and confidence, and he's not going to back down. You look at him and you see him in the ring, and he moves with a poise, a confidence, a level that he believes that he is on. That is part of the mental psyche of elite sports. You have to go in, no matter how many times you may have lost, you have to go in thinking that this next opportunity is going to be the one that you come out on top. Their fight was a close fight, but I thought Valenzuela was more accurate, sharper, and hurt Davies a lot more than he hurt him. Some of those scorecards were a little bit messed up and a little bit too close. But when the home fighter is under duress, right, you kind of lean to try to even it up a little bit more. But I thought Valenzuela, even though it was a close fight, I thought Valenzuela was the clear winner of their fight. He controlled a good portion of that fight, especially in the second half, and the power and the speed carried over to the latter parts of the fight. After that fight, his next 2 fights was back home in his home country of Mexico, beats both of those guys by stoppage, and steps into the ring with Montana Love. This is where things get a little interesting. The first round starts a little slow, right? And then close to the end of the first round, Valenzuela gets dropped by a shot because he came in a little bit too aggressive, and Love caught him with an overhand right, which wasn't really a massive hit. It wasn't a shot that you say, oh man, like he's terribly hurt. It was a shot that, okay, he caught him when he was coming down, but still a shot that dropped him, and it became a 10-8 round. Then the next round, Love comes in and made a similar mistake that Valenzuela did, except this time he gets caught with a more powerful shot, and Valenzuela drops him, counters him, and drops him, and now everything is back even. 10-8 round Valenzuela. But after that round, man, the style of the fight changed. The pace of the fight changed, and it became very tactical, and both men didn't want to give up too much or didn't want to take too much of a risk getting countered again. Both Love and Valenzuela are natural counterpunchers. And if you don't have an opponent that punches, you can't use your counterpunching ability. You can't use that strength that you have. You can't use that asset. Right? So the rest of the fight, man, it was just who was going to make the least amount of mistakes. But you know what was interesting to me, right? Valenzuela didn't really seem to me that he was particularly like hurt. But Love did look hurt in a few moments of that fight. But Love did the smart thing, staying away, keeping things at a distance, right? Keeping away from Valenzuela, and they gave him the win. But I would have liked to see Valenzuela picked up the pace a little bit more, take more risk, and been more aggressive and apply the pressure. If he could have got Love to engage a little bit more, man, I think he would have been able to stop him or at least get some of those rounds back that he lost. But it was an interesting fight that honestly I thought was going to end up a draw. But nonetheless, Montana Love got the win. After that fight, he goes to fight Yves Ulysse Jr. in my adopted country of Canada. They fought in Montreal. Ulysse came in and played into Valenzuela's strength. He was overly aggressive, and he got caught with an uppercut that dropped him, and he wasn't able to get up from that. It was a beautifully timed and placed uppercut. It was a great shot. That's what Valenzuela can do. He's gotten so much better over the recent years. And even with 3 losses, he's no joke. You can't play with that man, right? And he's going to come in ready to go in front of his home crowd. Not to mention, he is at home. Cinco de Mayo weekend. But let's talk about his opponent, Steve Spark. 16 wins, 2 losses, 14 wins by way of knockout. There's been 2 fights in Spark's whole professional career that he hasn't stopped his opponent. The first fight that I saw of Stevie Sparks was when he fought Tim Tszyu, right? He did lose that fight by way of stoppage in the 3rd round, but Sparks showed some good, solid moments, right? There was a shot where Stevie Spark, man, he loaded up on that right hand and just missed. But I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, man, like if that shot connected, man, that might have dropped Tim Tszyu. Who knows? But right at the last minute, Tim Tszyu moved his head off the line and he was able to dodge and evade that shot. But that was a fight where Tim Tszyu, man, he made some really good space adjustments and he just broke down Spark. Spark has a great chin, but to the body, anybody is vulnerable, right? And it was just body shot after body shot. And I don't care who you are, how tough you are, how big you are, no person can take consistent body shots round after round to the liver and keep up. You know what I'm saying? Especially at the power that Tim Tszyu was putting on those shots. But I thought Spark showed a lot of heart, right? He didn't stand there to get taken advantage of. Tim Tszyu was just better. But after that, he comes back and he fought River Daz, which he looked powerful. He looked fast. He looked sharp. Put together great combinations in that fight. And his body work was excellent. It was excellent. He looked great to me in that one. After that, he stops his next 2 opponents in under 4 rounds, I believe it was. And then he steps into the ring with Montana Love, which was his most recent fight. And things got interesting with Montana Love again. The one thing I noticed when they got into the ring was how much bigger Stevie Spark looked. This fight was at 140 pounds, but man, when he rehydrated, man, Stevie Spark, I mean, he probably was like 155, 160, just off the eye test, right? And you could see he was just bigger. But the first round goes off and you could see Love was trying to catch his timing and counter him. Love was playing it smart and he looked good in the first round. Love looked sharp early, using his legs and trying not to stay stagnant and shooting his hand straight down the middle, using his jab. But what I didn't like, man, was when Love was kind of just talking right in front of Stevie Sparks. Look, a good trash talking in the world of sports is always good if it does not make you forget your game plan, or if it doesn't make you feed too much into the trash talk that you forget what you're supposed to do. Sometimes people trash talk to get under people's skin, yes, but that doesn't always work. And sometimes talking trash, you are distracting yourself and you forget what you're supposed to do. And I think that is what happened to Montana Love, because he got dropped in the 2nd round shortly after he was talking to Steve Spark. But the 3rd round goes, Love recovered, got back in and took the 3rd round. But Spark knew at that point that, like, man, I hear you talking, but I can hurt you. And so for me, watching it the rest of that fight, it just felt like, man, Steve Spark, if he connects one shot, it could drop Montana Love at any given moment. Love isn't a guy that likes to brawl. Spark does. He likes that where he can use his physicality to his advantage. Now, let's talk about that 6th round. 6th round comes, right? There was a head clash. And they took a break because Montana Love had a cut, I think, in the right side of his eye. And he was talking to the doctor. Right. And he told the doctor, I can't see. I'm like, OK, that's interesting. Right. But he said, look, I can go. I can continue. So the ref comes in and they calls them back in. And Stevie Sparks came in uber aggressive and just starts swinging. And he throws the right hand and Spark dodges it, which I thought was interesting because you just said you couldn't see. But he dodged it like he definitely saw it coming. And he wrapped up Stevie Spark. Both of these men got tangled and they were on the ropes. And the next thing you knew, Stevie Spark got flipped over the ropes and he landed on his feet, which was actually kind of impressive, right? Because he did stick the landing. And then Stevie Spark walks up and he goes back into the ring and the fight was done. I remember watching it. I was like, yo, what in the world did we just see? Right? And Spark got the win because it was a DQ. To me, man, like, the ref was right there and he was trying to break it up. And if the ref is right there and the ref is right there, usually the fighters stop. But Montana Love didn't stop. So to me, it just made me think like, man, he must have been pretty frustrated right? You do not do certain things if certain things are not under your skin. Everything was kind of building up. That was Steve Spark getting under his skin. And I don't think Love at the time really knew what to do, because Stevie Spark was much better than Montana Love anticipated. At least that's what it looked like to me. But yeah, it was an interesting finish. So who wins? This has the potential to be more exciting than the Canelo and Ryder fight. I'm not saying the Canelo fight is not going to be exciting, but you know, this is a very good matchup. I'm not sure what the odds are, but I'm sure this knockout or stoppage play is going to be strong in this one. And I think it could play out that way. Whether you like Spark or you like Valenzuela, I think if Spark is going to win, I think he's going to need the knockout to do it. Judging is tough when you're away from home, and Valenzuela is at home. And, you know, he's got the power and he's got the skill in his own right. Plus, it's Cinco de Mayo weekend. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be tough for Stevie Spark to win that fight on points. I think he's going to have to knock him out to beat Valenzuela. Now, I think Valenzuela is the better all-around boxer. I think Stevie Spark has more natural power. I think Valenzuela is sharper, but I think Spark puts together more consistent combinations. Valenzuela's counterpunching ability has been exceptional in his recent fights. He's going to be looking to do that in this one. I'm taking Valenzuela to win this fight. Stoppage is probably the smart play, and I think both men are going to be looked to do that to put on a show. But what if this fight goes the distance? I think I'm going to take the distance play in this one. Again, I think if Spark is going to win, I think he has to win by way of knockout, some type of KO, some type of stoppage, man. Cinco de Mayo weekend, it's going to be hard for him to win on points. But I think this fight could go the distance. What are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you have winning this one? Let me know in the comment section below. If you would like to support the channel, there's a couple ways you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you would like to support by way of donation, you can find options in the description below. Also, my Cash App handle will be on screen as well. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel and will be greatly, greatly appreciated. We recently just started a membership on the channel. I don't always get to do all of the videos you guys suggest, but if you become a member, those suggested videos go to the top, and I will do my best to try to get those ones done for you. Or if you just like to become a member to support the channel, man, that would be greatly appreciated as well. Shout out to all the members already holding down the membership spot. Shout out to everybody that continues to like, comment, share, and show their support for the channel. I don't take that for granted. I appreciate each of you as well. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this long, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.